Hello, welcome to Phyre Dojo. And so I've been working on a few things, although I've been very busy in orientation with a new nursing job, trying to struggle a little bit to juggle Phyre Dojo and at home and my 3 other nursing jobs. So I have an order for a hand drill set, and so this one, no surprise, is made out of the hearthboard is made out of Western red cedar. Okay, and this spindle is horseweed. Okay, if you can see that there. So this this spindle, Coniza canadensis, is 7/16 of an inch diameter at the base, which, as you can see, has never been used. So we're testing it for the first time. Again, all the bases are 24 inches long, right? And the spindles are just over 22 inches, so that they fit inside the flute or the trough of the bento box style shape hearthboards. So we're going to test this set. As you saw, I put 1 drop of hand lotion on my hands, and you would think that would be greasy, but if you rub it in enough, you actually have friction once you rub it in. If you don't use a lot, you have to use just a drop. Okay. And as you can see, we're in my kitchen because I have a machine running downstairs in my workshop and I can't stop it. Plus, there's more lighting down here than there is down in my workshop at the moment. So let's see. So we're going to test this set. I'm going to pick. I usually pick the farthest to the right socket there. Okay. And the usual routine is that I have to do 3 things. I have to mate it, because this has never been used. You have to mate it, you have to warm it up and start filling the notch, and 3, you have to ignite it, right? And we're going to do that by floating. I'm not going to do the traditional way of going down, stopping, going back up. I'm going to try and do the float at the top, which means I'm going to go palm to fingertip, palm to fingertip. And I'm just going to rely on speed and rotations and just leaning on it. Okay, so that's floating. So there's a little squeaking, which means I don't have friction yet. So I'm going to increase speed, and there's the sound change. So with the sound change, I have friction, getting a little bit of smoke. Right. And I'm starting to slip a little bit, so I'm going to fix my hands. Speed and rotation, speed and rotation, and I'm just going to do a run down to fall down, and that should happen. And that looks like a success to me. Would you say so? Okay. Alright, so that's scientific proof. This set works. I'm going to respectfully put that coal in the sink. Thank you very much. And when you're done, you put your set away, right? So it's protected, can't break your spindle, all set to go. So that is an order for someone. Along with this order, this person requested that I figure out how to help his two little girls figure out friction fire. So I thought about it for a while, and so my son, who's holding the camera there, Jake, he used to be in Boy Scouts, and many years ago, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, we went to the New Jersey State Trooper camporee, which practically flooded out the entire weekend. There were tents that were just underwater. It was amazing. I had built for the camporee for basically like over 1,000 kids about 24 pump drills. And I learned something very important with these pump drills, is that you never use oak. Oak, when you use it on a pump drill, they just split and break on you. So they didn't last very long. Now you think oak would be really strong and hard and hold up, but with all the twisting and turning and the punishment of the pump drill sets, they really just started snapping on me. And I'm really glad I had 24 of them, because one would break, I would toss it aside, grab another pump drill, and we would just keep going, because there's a line of like a couple hundred Boy Scouts waiting to try a pump drill. So it was an amazing experience. It was literally trial by fire. So I ripped out all the broken oak spindles that I had made them out of these wheels that I had bought at a place called Tractor Supply, where you could buy farm supplies, and if you have, there's chicken feed and all kinds of things there. So I had bought these wheels for like $15 each. And I still have the wheels. Like I have like almost 24 of these wheels. So so I wanted the pump drill sets that I was going to make for these two little girls to be small. I didn't want this, because this is called the flywheel. I didn't want the flywheel to be huge. I wanted it to be manageable, right? Now the secret to a pump drill is this, what's called centrifugal force. Centrifugal force means that when your wheel spins around after you pump it, I might as well just show you. After your wheel spins around, it just keeps on spinning. When you spin it, the weight that's on the outside of the wheel keeps that wheel spinning. That's centrifugal force. Okay. So I wanted this, and how you get the most force is the weight is on the outside. Okay. And with these solid rubber wheels, the weight is really on the outside. So I wanted to make the pump drill sets personal to the girls. So I took I carved out some pieces of wood, put their names on them, and what I did was I started drilling holes of the plastic and cut out the plastic in the wheel and replaced it with these wooden discs, okay, that has the girls' names on them, and then I epoxied them in. So this is not going anywhere. Like, this is rock solid. And so my design for a pump drill is, the spindle is one solid piece. Now, learning my lesson from the Boy Scout camporee of literally just hundreds and hundreds of Boy Scouts trying out a pump drill and watching them just smash one after another, right? So I traded up for a harder wood that shouldn't break, with considering the fact that they're two girls, they're young girls, right? They're not going to abuse these sets like a couple hundred boys would. And so this is made out of ash. So this ash should hold together for a fairly long time, like years, if they're taken care of, right? So my design is that you never want to use the spindle where the friction is. Like you don't use the spindle for actually burning. If you're going to build a pump drill, you have to have reloads. Sometimes they're called plugs. I call them reloads because you just reload another one in. I made this really simple for the father of the girls to switch out. It's a hose clamp. You just need a screwdriver. You loosen this up. You pull out the old plug and you just pop a new one in. All of these are 3 inches long. It's an inch deep, the hole, which means you have almost 2 inches of play with a new reload. Okay. Now it's shaped so that the pump drill the flywheel doesn't spin loosely around the spindle. Because the design that I don't like with pump drills that I see is that the hole in the flywheel is round. And then it has to friction fit. It has to friction fit the spindle, and hopefully that doesn't loosen and the flywheel doesn't become loose. I want that to never become loose. So what I did was I squared the hole. Okay. And I made the place here where the flywheel will sit, it's shouldered, meaning that it's wide down here so that it has nowhere to go, and I squared it down here, and because it's shouldered, it won't go any farther. Can't fall down any farther than that spot. And it'll never become loose because it's square. The flywheel will never spin around loosely around the spindle. It'll always be wedged in there. And so the other thing I don't usually like about pump drills is that if this flywheel is permanently attached, it's very hard to travel with and carry. So you want to be able to take the flywheel off and just put it back together when you're ready. All right. Now I also made the what I call a pressure bar brace, because it is exactly those 3 things. You apply pressure, it's a bar, and it's a brace for you to hold it steady. Okay. So now here's an example of the centrifugal force. When I pump with the bar, it still spins. That's centrifugal force. It's stopped by the fact that it runs out of string. Runs out of string, runs out of string, runs out of string. That's what makes it stop. And then you go in the opposite direction, opposite direction, opposite direction. But what really matters is, does this thing work? So this will come with like a dozen extra reloads. So we're going to take, I already tested it on this cedar board and it worked really well. But I'm going to test it on this pine. This is a hearth board of pine. As you you can see there. And we're going to give this one a go. Let's see what happens. I don't know what's going to happen. Oh, the reloads are poplar, by the way. So the spindle is ash, the reload is poplar, this hearthboard is pine, and this one is cedar. So it's poplar on pine. Poplar, reload on pine, hearthboard. I should probably hold that down. So again, I have to do three things, right? I have to mate it, warm it up, and ignite it. So I see we're getting some smoke. Now, if my flywheel was larger, it would be really hard to see down below. So the trick to a pump drill is when it gets to the top, there's a millisecond of recoil, and when it recoils, that's when you push down. So you don't need a lot of pressure, but you should keep up the speed. Actually, you only need enough pressure to hold it in place. And never lift up. Never lift up on the bar. You don't want to help it up. The pump does all the work of bringing the bar up. It's a little hard to see what's happening below, so I'm going to stop for a second. Looks like a coal. Needs a little time to form. Here we go. So I would call that a success, right? So, and I respectfully put this out in the sink. Okay. So I would call this set, right, a success. And we're going to do the cedar board in the second set. You right there, Jake?
Yep.
So we're going to put this flywheel on this one. Put the bar, pressure bar brace down. Now I have two, it's hard to see, I have two little marks here on the cord. And I put each mark on each side of the notch. So I know it's equal. So we'll start over here. So when it comes to children, And you want to start them off with friction PhyreKeeping. The pump drill is really probably one of the first introductions you should ever do. The pump drill is the easiest. It starts to give you a bit of an understanding of the principles of the friction. You want them to have a success. Okay. Some people will want to start a kid off with a Dojo. I think that's a little too challenging at first, especially if they're really young. But you could teach them to capture the rhythm. Capture the rhythm of the pump drill. And then from that, they can also learn the cadence that comes with bowing. Okay. So after a pump drill, my next recommendation after that is actually a crutch drill. A crutch drill is, for a small child, would be like a standing or a kneeling, very tall bow drill, which you rest under your armpit, which I know I have past vlogs of a crutch drill, so they're there. I'm not sure what's going on down there, but let's have a look. That looks like a success. Again, poplar reload on cedar, Western red cedar. All right, so flywheel off, spindle, pressure bar brace, reloads, and respectfully put the coal in the sink. All right, so these are going to be going out very soon. Going to get them packaged up. Fire Dojo is here if you have any and all questions on friction firekeeping. All right, I'm always at the end of an email. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and I'm back on Twitter. Just so I could push out what I actually put on Facebook and Instagram, just for show. Just let people know that there's this is still all alive and well, friction firekeeping. And you can be creative and have things custom made, make it to your liking, turn it into an art form, whatever it is you want to do. All right, and we'll see you next week. Thanks.